everybody. Thanks for coming today and welcome to this Practice Managers webinar, which LexisNexis have kindly arranged for us. Okay, so thank you all for your attendance and over to Kingsley.
Thanks, Anne. Appreciate it. Hello, everyone. It's nice to meet you. My name's Kingsley. I'm from LexisNexis. I've been with Lexis 6 years, and I'm here today to talk to you about AI and what we have seen happen in the marketplace, what the appetite for that is, share a few customer insights, and then after that, I'm anticipating moving into a live product demonstration to show you how some of the use cases that might be relevant for you. When I do that and move into the demonstration stage, the microphones and cameras will be enabled. I'd really encourage you to come forward and come talk to me, ask questions. As I can't stand the sound of my own voice for 45 minutes or an hour. So please come forward and ask questions. I'll be very grateful for that. Without further ado, I'm just going to share my screen and we'll go through the presentation. So, AI in the legal space seemed to hit us like a train about 18 months ago, and it escalated enormously. So, what we've done in the last 18 months is we've done a huge amount of customer profiling, customer conversations, customer surveys on what they're seeing, what they're feeling, what they're seeing, what they think is going to be the best use cases for it. And I'm going to touch on some of those just now. But just to start us off today, what we're seeing, generally speaking, from some of the leading AI commentators is what are the general impacts of AI and what do we expect them to do? Well, the MIT produced a report that said that the legal profession itself is likely to be fairly transformational, and that their estimation, as early as it could be, suggested that some lawyers will achieve up to 37% productivity or time saving. So that's an enormous change. We would rank that as possibly the biggest potential change to impact the legal world since digitization. So when you look at the whole business landscape, we look at what AI we look at where AI we think is going to have an impact, and a report from Goldman Sachs suggested that actually, in terms of all of the industries available, legal was probably the second one where AI was going to have a positive impact, and where routine tasks and automation can have a really big impact and improve productivity effectively, much more so than some of the other larger industries as well, like architecture and financial operations. So, what's the difference between extractive AI and generative AI? Well, so extractive AI is a concept that has actually been in use in Lexis for 5+ years. Extractive AI really it finds relevant results within existing data. So we use that today within our Lexis Plus product. For those of you who are customers and you have access to that, when you do a search on Lexis, you bring up it often returns answer cards. Those answer cards are driven by extractive AI as a good example of where it fits into our product today. Generative AI, it actually creates new content, most oftenly from existing data. So it can return content that you ask it to. What's happening in the marketplace for AI? What is the whole marketplace saying to us? Well, as Anne kind of pointed out at the beginning of the call, or the top of the call, the appetite for knowledge, the use cases have been growing at an enormous rate. And in July last year, we ran a survey of around 1,200 lawyers, and we saw that 39% of them have an interest in AI, whether they're planning to use it in their work shortly or they're already using it, whether that be free to use AI sources like ChatGPT or any of the other paid for services. Just sort of 6 months later, we've seen a 22% hike in exactly the same questions. 61% of the legal marketplace are telling us that they are going to be using AI or plan to be using AI in the distant future, or in the near future, or are using it already today. So there's been a huge leap in where lawyers are using these types of technologies to help cut through their work. I mean, my anticipation, based on what I do for a living, is that number has jumped again from 61% in the 5 short months since we did the survey in early 2024. It seems to be the only thing we talk about. What's really interesting is how the legal profession is interacting with each other on AI, and what they think should be taking place. And we'll probably touch on this again in the next slide as well. 65% of the law firms that we've surveyed, 65% of the in-house counsel we surveyed are anticipating law firms to be using AI in the work that they're given from the in-house counsel. So, really, it's almost a clean sweep here to say that law firms will absolutely be using AI in their day-to-day to return work that they're instructed to give by in-house counsel. The larger part of the market who are addressing this in a material fashion, they're going at quite a pace to get here, right, and to adopt AI. The larger firms out there, they have already made lots of changes in readiness for this. There are very few large law firms that I speak to, for example, who don't have AI committees or AI plans, already have multiple work streams working here to embed AI into what their workflows look like today. As of Q1 this year, 21% of large law firms are already running training on how their lawyers can use AI in their workflow. 26% of them, a quarter of them, have already launched an AI tool, and 39%, but growing rapidly, are releasing policies on how to use AI and where to use AI. And actually, I think for public sector myself, that's probably a huge part of the consideration here. As the ethical and legal considerations can't really be understated. Oops, sorry. So beyond the headlines, so when we went out to the marketplace, and we've done this several times, we went to the press, we went to AI commentators across the world. They were looking at 4 major use cases. They all said the same thing: 4 major use cases for where AI might make a difference in a lawyer's workflow. Now, drafting came out second in the initial survey in 2023. However, since our understanding across the marketplace has increased in 2024, that number has risen to 91%, where we see huge opportunities to assist lawyers in drafting documents, in drafting emails, in drafting legal research notes, et cetera, et cetera. It's also likely to have a big impact on the way we do research, based on what we do today, and we're expecting a huge change in how we do that, what we return, what we then do with that information, and how we then share that onwards. Writing emails is a large part of most lawyers' lives, and this just gets easier using AI, and hopefully you'll relate to that when we see the demo later on. And document analysis, lots of people can spend a lot of time poring over long legal documents, trying to pull out differences, and check provisions, check liabilities, etc. Again, this is going to be a huge part, we hope, of how we drive productivity savings. Back to the MIT stat of 37% productivity savings back into the marketplace. Just to hover on this slide a little minute, we've seen some use cases in this sort of local authority or public sector kind of area come to the fore. So I thought I'd share a couple with you today. So we have a functionality that works to summarize documents, and we've seen some use cases for this already, where summarizing functionality can be used to produce local authority member briefings that can explain legal issues relevant for council committee meetings, and if needed, summarise the factual elements of the matters under consideration. It can produce visual or written summaries of new legal developments for client service departments, just among other things. We're also seeing that legal research can be more easily achieved with a higher degree of specificity over Lexis content. So what you're pointing at, for example, instead of a case search asking for cases relating to housing allocations, instructions can be given to target all cases relating to antisocial behaviour since 2020, as an example, which narrows the field as required and quickly producing results and giving you what you need. Those are two use cases that our local government lawyers have presented as, typical things that might resonate with this audience. So, just shifting gears a little bit away from what the market's saying to what Lexis are going to have developed, and Lexis, where we're going to focus our energy and efforts for AI to drive those productivity gains. The first one is we've developed our product in order to address 4 major use cases, and they do map quite closely to those that the market said they wanted. So an AI search that interacts, one that drafts, one that summarizes cases, and one that can review uploads of documents, etc. This is a technology that's designed to be delivered to the lawyer in their workflow using a browser, all in the Lexis environment. So, as I've just intimated, all of our AI is developed in our own platform, right? So we have spent a long time building out Lexis Plus in a global. Lexis Plus is our legal guidance and research platform. It's our ecosystem where we contain all of our technology, all of our content across the world, and AI sits across that. Good example, I hinted at it earlier on, of AI already in operation in the existing platform today is when you ask a legal question, and you can see on the screen here there's an answers card that comes up. That is effectively AI surfacing. It's extractive AI surfacing the answer to the question that's been asked. So what about the risks? What are people worried about? What's the market saying about risks, and how in this situation, how are Lexis mitigating those risks? So there's been a lot of noise and a lot of chatter. You may have seen it if you're connected to the outside world on AI, where some of the legal community have been trusting some of the judgments coming out of some AI tools like ChatGPT, and it's been driving misinformation or hallucinations into their workflow. It's relatively infrequent, but it certainly happens, and it just presents a huge risk to the organization. It presents a huge risk to the lawyer as well. So technology is a risk, and what we do to mitigate that is materially different to the tools you can use and purchase outside on the web today. So our AI tool is as a primary example, it is grounded only in our content. So our entire repository of content, including encyclopedic works, primary law, secondary sources, our guidance content, and our huge precedent banks, they're all completely ring-fenced. So our AI tool can only return answers from within the authoritative content that we have written and we provide to you today. That's a material change on the way general AI is produced today. We match our content and that ring-fence content with our technical or technological capability here. The LLMs, or large language models like ChatGPT, for example, they struggle with some of the legal use cases, and they pull on some of the wrong data in order to return results. And you end up with sort of biased outputs. Lack of citation of where material is produced is a huge concern. But for Lexis, the way we've built our tool is we've built that global repository of content, and we're using proprietary search and retrieval augmented generation which is extremely technical, but it effectively means we've got a couple of LLMs, large language models, pulling that data out and constructing the answers for you. We're using a huge number of our legal community and legal employees across the world to make sure that we are in the loop, and we are returning high quality answers and returning high quality outputs back to the user. And of course, we are using the latest technology here, and we've got a huge number of tech hubs across the world here. We've got up to 2,000 technical AI specialists across the world in Lexis, creating our infrastructure and creating our tool. One of the key issues that we hear a lot in the marketplace is that privacy and security are really big. So we've built our products and services, not just AI, but our core products in Lexis Plus around privacy by design. And we do private model with secure user sections. Again, I'll show you that when we get to the demo. We use commercial grade cloud infrastructure. So, some of the big names that might resonate with you, like AWS and Anthropic. Lexis is part of RELX, RELX PLC, which is a FTSE 10, who have other businesses, for example, Reed Elsevier as a name, who are at the forefront of the AI revolution, and so we're very keen on making sure that we approach this in a responsible, regulated fashion, and that we deliver high quality, risk mitigated tools to the marketplace. Final slide before I bore you to death by PowerPoint, is just rigorous security for us. So I've already mentioned Anthropic and Amazon AWS, but our model is based on GPT and a Microsoft Azure model too, and we have many points of security, including private endpoints and 24/7 security monitoring to make sure we are maintaining a very high standard for security, privacy, and technical risk. Right, that's the end of the presentation. Thank you for listening to that bit.